Yeah, so we're up to 14 deaths in this fucking madness over protesting over one guy. Of course, it's not all they're protesting, but I think it's important. You know, are we gonna have to? This is becoming like a multifaceted, kind of multi-ethnic group entity in the United States. Not just two. It's not just black and white. It's like people of color, leftists, conservatives, or what. I mean, that's not really how it breaks down, but something like that. And it's becoming like this strategy where somebody kills an unarmed black person, then they're gonna riot and fuck a bunch of shit up, kill some people. The natural reaction to that is to form defense forces. Whether it be, you saw it yesterday, right? Anyone see on Twitter? They had these, I don't know the name of the part of the city in Philadelphia. It's like Fishtown or some shit. But it was like, you know, those mob movies where they fuck somebody up because someone disrespects the bar or something. Somebody disrespects Silvio's bar, so they all go grab a bunch of baseball bats. They didn't look Italian, but that's what it looked like. They wouldn't let the protesters through. So is it like, it's becoming like an Israel-Palestine Hezbollah situation where you take one of ours, so then we're going to take a bunch of yours, and then that entity is then going to have to retaliate. Because, you know, there has to be deterrence, and there has to be a price paid when something like this happens. You know, can't just put the guilty party in prison. This is what happens in barbaric situations like Yugoslavia, Israel. It becomes retributive justice. I don't really like it because I don't know where I stand. I don't really want to be involved. But no, I just had that thought. That's a scary thought. But we're thinking about, right? Like, if the cops aren't going to do shit, people are going to have to form their own defense forces. I mean, that's what created Hezbollah. Hezbollah didn't exist until Israel invaded. And the Shia formed a self-defense force. And now it's this fucking insane, crazy, capable, probably the most formidable enemy that Israel has, other than Iran. You know, and they're fanatical. So that's the law of unintended consequences. And, you know, nobody wins in that situation, either on the Israeli side or the Palestinian side. But my thought was related to deterrence for the police. Like, the reason why people don't want to fuck with the police is deterrence, right? Either getting arrested, or getting your head cracked open, or even getting questioned by the police. Like, that's really stressful for a lot of people, right? I got reamed out by the police a couple times. That's not very fun. So even that you want to avoid. But, oh fuck, there's a crackhead. I'm gonna have to deal with this guy. The police have lost all deterrence, right? It's like you can loot. They're probably not going to stop you. You can light cop cars on fire. The chances of you getting caught and punished are pretty low. That's obvious, but in the less obvious sense, as I think in relation to these police shootings, you know, from what I know, I don't blame Floyd for what happened, but he did put himself in a situation where he had to be restrained. But yeah, he didn't deserve to die. We didn't want to see him die, but he committed a crime. He put himself in a situation where he had to be restrained, and that contributed to his death, even if it's not, you know, his fault. Uh, but as it relates to police shootings, you create a situation where you're running, or you have a gun, or you have a weapon. Um, Even if it's not 100%, like the police are justified in opening fire. Um, those people put the police in that situation, and I think part of the deterrence has to be, well, police aren't clairvoyant and they're not perfect. So you fuck around with the police, yeah, you might end up dead or with a cracked skull. So this is something that's never talked about. It's like the police need to de-escalate in all circumstances. But I don't think that's true. I take the police officer's side. It's like, well, this person escalated, and the police had to make a split-second decision, so it's on the fucking idiot. I think some people take that point of view, but not many. So if we're saying to the police and we're saying to criminals, oh, you can run, you can run across the highway, you can run down an alley, you can not show your hands, you can look threatening and make threatening postures, and if you get shot, we're still going to blame the police. Well, where's the deterrence? I think the deterrence has got to be you act out of line, you're going to get fucked up or possibly shot and killed. Well, when you take away that deterrence, well, I think we see what the result is. But with these police shootings, that's my line of thinking. There's this guy, what the hell was his name? I don't know. It was in somewhere in California. This is a crazy video if you can find it. His name just escapes me. But he was at a Taco Bell drive-thru and he falls asleep. I don't know if he just drank in some cough syrup or what. He falls asleep with like a gun under his leg or on his lap or something that the cops see. They're trying to wake him up for a really long period of time. They wake him up. He goes for the gun. The cops all the idiots on Twitter are like, oh, they killed him for sleeping. They didn't kill him for fucking sleeping. He woke up. The cops said, put your fucking hands up. There's like not much room for error there if he's got a gun on his lap. He goes for it, and they load 50 bullets into him. You could argue maybe that's overkill. I don't know. But this guy put the cops in that situation. Like, who the fuck goes to a Taco Bell and falls asleep with a weapon out in the open? You know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying. Like, we need to incentives, results, unintended consequences all matter. And we're putting political correctness and feels over what really matters and makes a difference. And that's part of the reason why we're in the situation we're in, where we're treating our cops like shit. We're not letting them do their job. They're getting fucking murdered. There's not an adequate response from the police as a deterrent. Police isn't like, you can't treat criminals like, college kids where everything is done above board and there's a grading system and there's a process for everything. Like protecting the public and protecting the officers comes first. And if you have to cut corners on how you treat the criminals, well, that's kind of their fault, isn't it? Like the lives of criminals, I don't see that in the Constitution as being the first and foremost of our society. So I think we don't need the Gestapo, but I think we need to let the cops loose. Not just now, but on an ongoing basis. I think it'll help a lot. Anyway, have a good day. Pants up. Don't loot.